Hi, I'm Andrew here from FantasyAid to give you the recap of my Money League FantasyAid draft that happened yesterday. I wasn't able to live stream it because I couldn't find a quiet place, but I will give you the recap here, and also I will be recapping what's happening in the league throughout the season. I'll be making predictions every Sunday and detail the teams I'm playing and who has what advantage. So be looking for that. So let's get into how the draft went. Now I had the 8th pick overall, and I was going to take Rizzo, but Justin took him, so I went with Manny Machado. I originally drafted him as my shortstop, but as you'll see later in the draft, I'm keeping him at third base. My 2nd pick was Jose Abreu, and I was really happy he dropped to me there. I wanted Rizzo or Abreu as my first baseman, and I didn't want to take Abreu with the 8th pick because obviously that's way too early, but I thought he would go before the 17th pick, so I was pretty happy about that. My 3rd pick, I thought about going starter, but I decided to add a little bit of more speed to my team with power speed combo with Starling Marte. In hindsight, I probably should have gone with someone with a little bit more power, but Marte is a pretty good first outfielder. Something I was really happy about was Jose Fernandez falling to the 4th round, which I didn't know if he'd make it to me there, but he did. I love having him as my first starter. I know he was injured last year, but he has the potential to be the _1 guy along with Kershaw and Scherzer. Pick number 5, I went with Chris Archer for my 2nd pitcher. Got to get those 2 aces as I've detailed before, so I'm really happy about getting him in round 5 with those strikeouts he gives you. And now you'll see why I put Machado in my third base slot, because I got Tulowitzki in round 6. I wasn't targeting him, but I didn't really love the hitters I had at that point, so I went with Tulowitzki to keep Machado at 3rd and just give me some options. Like, Machado's great backup if I need to move him to shortstop when Tulowitzki gets injured. So here in round 7, I went with my 3rd pitcher. I didn't know if I was going to do that going in, but pitchers were just flying off, and there weren't really any more left that I wanted as my 3rd starter, so I went with Lester in pick 80. And by round 8, closers were flying off the shelf, so I went with one of my favorite 2nd tier closers in Zach Britton. I like getting 2 2nd tier closers, and Britton was my 1st tier. By round 9, I realized I needed to start filling out my outfield a little bit more, especially with the 4 outfielder league. So I went with Christian Yelich to give me a little bit more speed and hopefully more power than we saw last season. I don't know. I mean, I would have preferred him to be my 3rd outfielder, but with the way the draft fell, he's my 2nd. Round 10, I got my 2nd tier closer in Cody Allen. So now I've got 2 decent closers that have good job security, unlike a lot of the closers during the back end. I mean, we don't even know who's going to be the Phillies closer or Tampa. I like to get my closers a little bit earlier this year. Round 11, I went with my favorite sleeper, Stephen Piscotty. At pick 128, I like him there. That's normally around where I'll always take him in any draft, which is earlier than anyone else takes him because Yahoo ranks him above the top 200, which is crazy. So I'm pretty happy with Piscotty as the 3rd outfielder. Round 12, I went with Andrew Miller. Now, this league is a 6x6 league, so it counts holds, and Miller will be getting saves for the first month of the season. So I get a month of saves from him, and then I get elite holds guy. And, I mean, obviously he's better than Britton or Allen in talent standpoint, so I was pretty happy to have him as a 3rd reliever. In round 12, I went with the guy that I thought dropped a little bit further than he should in Randall Grichuk. So I got Piscotty Grichuk duo right there. Pretty happy about that. My outfield's not elite, as you can see, but it's basically a middle tier kind of outfield. Round 14, I went with a 2nd baseman in DJ LeMahieu. I felt like I needed a little bit more speed on the team because at that point I was pretty far down in steals according to Yahoo projections, and LeMahieu will give me a good average and a decent OBP because this league also counts on base percentage, and he'll get me 20-ish steals, so I like him at 2nd base. Round 15, I went with a Biscotti clone in Michael Conforto, a little bit more power, less average, but he's a good backup. And, you know, any injuries or something, I might be moving Biscotti out of my outfield. I actually have a lot of flexibility with where I can put people. In round 16, I went back to closers and got Osuna. Now, obviously, he hasn't been given the job yet. I think he'll win it. But even if he doesn't, he's going to be the holds guy there. So it's a win-win situation for me, and I got a nice elite reliever in round 16. Now, my round 17 pick, pick number 200, was actually one of my deeper sleeper guys. Ben Paulson's going to be playing first base all year for the Rockies. You know, there's no more Justin Morneau. So he is an interesting speculative pick for your corner infield, or if you're in a deeper league and you left out on first baseman. Like, he's definitely a guy I would take a look at. I'm pretty interested to see what he can do this year. And then in round 18, I had to pick him because I just felt he fell way too far. Matt Holliday. I know he doesn't have the power anymore, but he's going to give you a great on-base percentage, a good average. He's going to have RBIs, so I don't know why he fell this late. In round 19, I went again with trying to get a couple steals here and there, so I picked up Josh Harrison, who has great flexibility, good average. I'll give you some steals, some runs, not bad for a middle infield spot, and I got backup for him later in the draft. Round 20, I went with an elite holds guy in Darren O'Day, going to give me a great ERA, great whip, and a lot of holds. Round 21, I went with my fourth starting pitcher, which I might have waited a little bit too long, but I like Fires. I mean, he's performed well this spring. Obviously, he played well with the Astros last year. He's a good upside pick there in round 21. At the point of round 22, I noticed that I've really neglected power in my lineup, so I was just looking for anyone that could possibly give me power. So the closest thing I could find was Mitch Moreland, who does have some playing time concerns, but if he plays consistently, he'll go over 20 home runs, so I went with him there. And by round 23, people were starting to look at prospects, you know, because there's one NA slot. So I went with Tyler Glasnow, my #1 prospect that ranked for me this year. I expect him to be up, you know, faster than, well, around Blake Snell, Jose Barrios. I think Lucas Giolito went right after him, but Giolito is not really projected to be up for a while, so that's why I thought Glasnow was a solid pick there. And then a guy I was really happy to pick in round 24 is Devon Travis. I mean, he's coming back from the shoulder injury, but obviously he's got great upside. He could become my middle infielder over Josh Harrison, depending on how he plays. And I got him so late that, you know, it doesn't matter if he doesn't perform. He's not even going to be in my starting lineup. Round 25, I went with another starter in Mike Leake. He'll give you a decent ERA and then a decent whip and some wins on a good Cardinals team, so I felt comfortable with him as my 5th starter. My 6th starter was a little bit more of a risky pick. Aaron Sanchez. He hasn't won the spot yet, but he's looked great in spring. This is more of a speculative pick. I can always dump him if he doesn't work out, but I'm interested to see if he can perform in the regular season like he is in spring training right now. Then I picked up my last reliever in Keila, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Again, this is a speculative closer kind of guy. If the Texas closer goes down, so he's next in line, and even if he doesn't, he's going to provide me holds. So I like going with speculative closers for my hold guys, because if they turn into closers, they're obviously much more valuable. And then another speculative pick in round 28, pick 329, is Corey Spangenberg. He played okay last year, and he'll give you some speed, so I thought I would give him another chance. Also, I mean, between Harrison, Travis, and Spangenberg, one of them should turn out and play a decent middle infield. And then if you noticed, I hadn't filled my catcher spot yet, so I went with Francisco Cervelli from the Pirates. He's got a great on-base percentage. He won't give you a ton of power, but he'll give you a good average. And, you know, this is why I wait on catcher, because there's okay catchers that will get you by in the later rounds. I mean, this is pick 344, and Cervelli was still available. And for insurance for Cervelli, with my last pick, I picked Nick Hundley, who is going to be the starting catcher for the Rockies this year. He's obviously going to provide more power, around the same average, but with less OBP, so I can switch out Cervelli and Hundley depending on the matchups. So that's my team. Obviously, I feel like I'm light on power. I would say I'm middle of the road pitching, a little bit above middle of the road, somewhere around there. I do really like my top 3. My average on the team is going to be great. My on-base percentage is going to be great. Steals, I don't have any big, huge steal guys that'll steal like 40 bases, but I feel it's pretty spread out that it'll give me a chance every week. So, as I said before the beginning of the video, I'm going to be keeping track of this league and posting updates and making predictions every week for fantasy baseball. I think I'm playing Ryan's team first from FantasySportsAddicts.com. Check out the website. Come and chat with us there. And just another reminder, I am writing articles for Fantasy Baseball Cafe. The series is titled Turf Talk. They're released every weekend, so check those out there. Thanks for watching, and for FantasyAid, I'm Andrew signing off.